What is going on? And welcome back to Combat Sports Today. My name is Jake Lippman, and I'm here with Blayne, the Young Gun Richards. How are we today, my friend?
Great, brother. I'm great. How are you?
Dude, I'm unreal. Obviously, got to support the Cage Fury. Big fight coming up. But let's be real. We're not here to talk about you. We're here to talk about your boys in Nebraska. No, I'm kidding. But I do want to get your take here. We had a big boxing match recently. Know your guy, Terence Crawford, got that W. Talk to me about that fight and kind of a little
Yes,
bit about
sir.
how – I know that's close to home. So talk to me a little bit about how that kind of hit you.
Yeah, that's it's definitely close to home. I get the question asked all the time, like why do you stay in Omaha? You can go anywhere. You go train at all these big gyms and everything like that. But Terrence has been like such a big influence on me on the aspect of like I want to do it from Omaha. I want to be that guy from Omaha that is put it on the map. So that in itself uh, has been a big influence on me. But then I actually work out at Terrence's gym quite a bit. I work out there. I get quite a bit of sparring with his teammates and stuff like that. And getting to know him, getting to interact with him, I told people from the start, I was like y'all are sleeping on this guy. Like I don't care what you guys say about Canelo and how big he is and everything like that. Terence Crawford, but has the best mind out of any combat sports person I've ever met. That guy is a straight gangster. Like in the fact of that he has a bulletproof mind. And he told y'all, like he said he was gonna stump a mud hole in his ass. And I think everybody else in the world, except for a couple of them judges, uh, who gave some of those rounds to Canelo, saw that he put a whooping on that guy, and it's kind of disrespectful that they didn't even like they even gave some of those rounds away. I felt like Canelo might have had one round, and some of those judges had it even going into the championship round. So that's wild to me. But yeah, very close to home. Again, Bud goes out there, puts Omaha on the map, shows the world that it doesn't matter where you're from. If you got the right people behind you and you got the belief in yourself, that you can do anything.
Absolutely. And we are going to talk plenty about Blayne. I do have two more Bud questions, but just so we can shout out
No, you're
Blayne,
good.
what's going on in his life. He's got a fight upcoming with Keegan Genrich, a big fight in North Dakota in the feature bout. So we will get to that in just a moment. But Blayne, I got two Bud questions for you. Is he the go to boxing?
Yeah. I mean, show me a better resume. Obviously, he's undefeated. Obviously, three different weight classes. Not even just like three consecutive weight classes, but we're jumping multiple weight classes. We're taking out the face of boxing, which is Canelo. Um, I don't know if you watched any of the press conferences or anything like that, but
I did.
Bud has a lot of fans. But there, it was definitely a pro Canelo crowd and everything like that. And he didn't let any of that affect him. So he went out there, put a show on, and made himself undeniable. So yeah, he is the GOAT. He is the GOAT for sure. You ask him, he says Muhammad Ali or like some of the people from the past. He doesn't want to discredit any of those, but I think that we've seen even in MMA, like we see that from the '90s compared to now, those guys couldn't touch us. Like I don't think I'm the best fighter in the world, but I think that back then I've been pretty high up on the list, Uh, so he's not going to discredit anybody like that, but I think it's pretty obvious he's the best.
Yeah, and I was shocked at how not only just how clean and technical and how easily he was able to impose his game plan, but I was just shocked that he matched up in size. I mean, this is a guy that fought mainly 20 pounds lower than Canelo was and came up and really showed up for himself. So I want to ask one more question about it because this has been a hot topic. I know Shakur Stevenson made a comment about if Ilia and Bud had a fight, Bud could do whatever he wanted to him, knock him out, maybe even submit him. I'm curious what your thoughts are as a guy who's been in the gym with him. Do you think he could compete in an MMA fight with Ilia? And then vice versa, do you think Ilia could compete with Bud in a boxing match?
Boxing, it's not. There's no question. There's absolutely no question. Bud smokes him. That's whatever. In MMA, obviously, I think the one thing that is like Bud's admitted it. Like you don't want to get kicked. Like no one wants to get kicked in the legs. He doesn't want to take no low calf kick or anything like that. But that's the fact if you could beat him, get past his hands and things like that. It's a toss up in the MMA world, honestly. And you talk about size and stuff like that. Like he's legitimately pound for pound one of the strongest people I've ever met. I've seen this guy walk into the gym in jeans and somebody say something about this weight on the bar and that they just did these deadlifts. It was 415. He walked up there in jeans, no warm up, anything, picked it up. Like you see those videos of that little guy that like is the janitor at the gym or something like that. He like goes up and he picks that shit up in front of the huge jacked guys, and they're like, what? Like that's how impressive Bud is, and that's how strong he is. So if he got a hold of you, if he got a hold of Ilia, anything like that, I think it's a lot different. But obviously, like Ilia trains in all these other aspects and things like that. So give Bud some time. I wouldn't put it past him that he smokes him even in an MMA fight.
Well, that was going to be my little question there. I mean, have you seen him grapple before, or do you think it's just purely his athleticism that could carry him?
Oh, he grapples for sure. Not necessarily like I've never seen him do like a jujitsu match or anything like that. But if you do any like research on him, the, his sons are like some of the best wrestlers in the country. He's got a son that's got like every triple crown across the country and everything like that. You don't think that he knows how or has shown those guys how to do double legs and single legs and things like that? He wrestled in high school, so shit, he picked up Canelo, turned him on the fence, and things like that. So those are just instinctual things that he does. So if you actually adapted that into an MMA career, I think he's unstoppable. And then obviously the mindset, he's like I said, he's bulletproof.
Yeah, and obviously that mindset is a big part of fighting. I know for you, you've gone through the ringer, coming up and down that career, really fighting tough competition at every stop of yours. You've got another really tough opponent, Keegan Genrich, a guy who's, been at the top level of LFA. He's fought some guys in the UFC just like yourself. How do you feel going into this fight? And what do you think, is about this fight that's really special for you?
Um, I wouldn't say that I'm putting any like aspect on it that it's a special situation or anything. I might have did that on the last fight that I had, and it might have even made it like a bigger situation than it had to be. And it might have cost me. Who knows? Like who knows actually how things would have shaken out and everything like that with whatever pressure you put on yourself. But I don't really give a shit about him. Like I'm out here working my ass off on the things that I can make happen and do the best at. And whenever it comes to the fight situation, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna put it on him. As far as his name and the accreditations that he has, yeah, that will look great on my resume. And it will put me uh, just that much closer to my goal. Obviously, uh, going out here and fighting cans, that's not going to help me get where I want to be. I'm so close. I feel like that I have to have these bigger like fights. I can't go out here and fight cans to make it. So I'm going to go out here and put somebody that's done some big things, and I'm going to put his head on my wall as well.
Absolutely. And he's tall, very long and rangy type of fighter, but he's also got some good skills, inside with his elbows, his knees, and some grappling. For you, where do you feel like your skill set's going to be advantageous in this matchup?
I mean, if somebody wants to grapple with me, I'm down to grapple. Honestly, I'm not afraid of getting taken down. That's look at any of my fights. Honestly, I get taken down by people that weren't wrestlers or things like that, and that doesn't work out the best for them. So if that's where you want to go, let's go there. But I, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna put my hands on him. I'm gonna put shit into his face. I'm gonna put elbows where I need to, things like that. Um, but I'm going to try to win every position. It doesn't matter where he wants to go. I think I'm the best fighter.
Absolutely. And I mean, you've got 6 submission wins in your professional career. You've got a knockout. You've got some decisions. You've shown the ability to really fight any style of fight, and you're always all action. I mean, there's never a boring fight. So for you with your team back at Skywalker 101, how have they put you in this position where you're able to come out there and fight any style of opponent in any style of fight? And like you said, it might not be the best position for you. You might get taken down, but you'll still find a way to win.
There's not shit else to do in Omaha, Nebraska except for work. That's all we do out here. So like that's the position that we put ourselves in. That's the position I put myself in. I put a lot of pressure on myself to lead from the front. So obviously, I do have a stable of guys that have their own skill sets. Obviously, I have Carlos Trinidad Snake, who is one of the best bare knuckle boxers in the world. So going toe to toe with him, boxing, kickboxing, and things like that, that's huge. I obviously got some college wrestlers on my team. Ilia, he's obviously done some great things. You've seen him even go up in weight at CFFC and take the 85 amateur belt with his wrestling skills. And then, honestly, I think that we have some of the best jiu-jitsu that I've ever gone with, honestly, in Nebraska. Like, the amount of pressure that we put on people is unreal compared to the other places that I've gone. I rode with black belts all over the country, and I'm just like, what website did you guys get this from? Like, so, like, um, in Omaha, Nebraska, we do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but I believe in myself as far as that, like, we're an American jiu-jitsu school as far as, like, we combine the wrestling pressure and the jiu-jitsu techniques that, uh, like I said, the amount of pressure that we can put on you is unreal, and it's hard for people to withstand that.
So are we calling it AJJ for American Jiu-Jitsu, or are we calling it NJJ for Nebraska Jiu-Jitsu?
Oh, that's tough. See, I'm not gonna go out there and say anything like that because then we'll get all the hate from all over the place. I'll still call it Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but we've definitely put our own mix on the thing for sure.
Absolutely. And I think in all of your fights, we've really been able to see a good mix of all of your skills. I want to take us back in time to actually when we first met, your first Eric Nolan fight, where you put some pressure on him. You used your hands, you got it to the ground, you took his back, you got that rear naked choke. I think that's the first fight that really put you on the map within the CFFC. Eventually, of course, you got to the title and won the belt. To me, I feel like even from there, you've grown and you've developed since that fight. So kind of talk to me about over the last few years, kind of how your game has evolved, or maybe if it hasn't evolved and you've only gotten better, where do you feel like you've improved your strengths or maybe reduced your weaknesses?
Yeah, honestly, like I would say that the reduce the weaknesses is a big thing. I like to tighten up like my footwork and things like that. I'm not trying to waste any time in there as far as I don't need to waste movements and stuff. It all needs to be intentional and be directed towards something because I know that if I do that, then that leads to the best result. So, yeah, obviously, though, I've been boxing a lot. Like I said, I'm at Buzz Gym all the time. But then I've trained so many different places and with so many different people that I've just grown and see, like, I feel like I'm a vet in the aspect that there's not something that you can throw at me now that I haven't seen.
Yeah, and you've seen a lot. You've been in there with a lot of guys, and I hate to bring it up, but I feel like it's pretty relevant. Obviously, the second time you fought Eric Nolan, it wasn't the result you wanted. Personally, I feel like it maybe was a little bit of an early stoppage. I think maybe you would think that as well, being that you're back in the cage 4 months later. Talk to me maybe about the difference between that first fight and the second fight. And I know both of them were in his backyard, but talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? Like the world champ has to go to that guy's backyard to defend his belt and everything. But like that's besides the point. All of that I've like pretty much gotten past. Like I'm not really focusing on any of that, and like I agree with you on the aspect that I do believe it was a little soon and everything. But I think any fighter is going to say that. But then also like my favorite fighter obviously is Charles Oliveira. And if Charles Oliveira got those same calls, he would have been a world champion. He wouldn't have done any of that. And then actually, that I'm pretty sure I watched that same ref Kevin Holland and Daniel Rodriguez the next week after, and both of them were laying on the ground at one point in time way longer than I was. So I don't want to sit there and harp on that because I'm past that, and I'm really focused on September 26th and what I can do at that point in time and the steps that I can take past that. But yeah, shit fucking happens, you know. And if the MMA gods work something out, I'll get that shit back, and we'll do it on a grand scale.
Absolutely. And I think I didn't want to say that in any way to make it feel like, any discreditation. I mean, at the end of the day, I think every fight you've had with the CFFC has been in your opponent's backyard. You're not scared of anybody, and you'll take any challenge. And I think everybody needs to know that is abundantly who Blayne is as a person and as a fighter. You'll take any challenges. And I think that's what's really fun to see, because now you're fighting a guy who's been at the top of the LFA. He's a guy that's been right next to the UFC and hasn't quite been able to get there. And I feel like you're almost at that same spot where it's like the time is now. So for you, you get a finish here, upcoming next weekend. What is next for you?
I'm waiting on that call. If they want to give me the call, I'll do it. Just like you said, I'm not afraid to fight whoever, whenever, or anything like that. So in my perfect world, I do something dope next week. I get a short notice, things like that. That's my plan. If that's not the case, Rob Haydack, give my fucking belt back.
And I know Rob's in the business of making big fights, so I'm sure he heard that and said, give me a highlight and we'll give you the fight.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I'm not saying that disrespectfully or anything like that. Me and Rob have a great relationship, but like, where's that belt right now? Why am I not fighting for it right now? Like, so, I don't really understand that situation, but, like I said, I want to go out there, do something dope next week. Then we'll figure out the plan after the fact. And I think that everybody that knows me and has seen me fight knows I'm ready whenever, wherever. Let's get it done. I stay in the gym all the time, so I'm constantly ready. And yeah, like I said, if that's not the case and I don't get the short notice call, I want my fucking belt back.
Absolutely. And I asked that kind of as a precursor because obviously we're talking about Eric Nolan, who now has made his UFC debut. Didn't go his way, but Dana said he's getting another opportunity. I'm curious, are you interested in the trilogy there?
Yeah, that'd be best case scenario. Honestly, that'd be dope. I will give that guy his props. Like, I think that he went out there and represented pretty well. They were glazing up this guy from Cosmot's team that he was going to go out there, and like, he did go out there on Tuesday night and throw one kick and get this guy out of there. So like, he obviously does have some good striking, but Eric went out there and represented. So like, props to him. I give him all the credit and everything like that. He didn't back down. And if he had 10 more seconds, I think he had him out of there. And that would have been the upset of the night, upset of the year. And so good for him. That's pretty dope. But yeah, 100%. If I could get that back in the UFC, I'll take it tomorrow.
Absolutely. And I mean, we all know Eric. He's a powerful guy. He's got a well-rounded game like yourself, a Marine. So a lot of respect to Eric. And we do wish him the best regardless what happens in the UFC. And I'm sure you'd love to get that trilogy back one day.
Yeah. It was kind of crazy. Like I said, we had to go to his hometown. It was on Veterans Day. He had it all set up, brother. He had it all set up. But like, he took advantage of the situation. Good on him. Like I said, shit happens. I'll get it back. No ill will for me. I've never had a problem with anybody or anything like that. So good for him. I bought him a drink at the end of the night and stuff like that. So I don't have a problem with that, but I do want that back. And I told his coach that night, like, it's 1-1. You know what the deal is.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, we all know, and I talked about it earlier, how you're able and willing to fight anywhere, anyone, anytime. I mean, for example, Hugh Pulley, you fought him in Florida in his backyard. Obviously, we talked about Eric. Now you're back in North Dakota. I believe this is your second time fighting at this venue. I know Keegan's also a Midwest, area guy, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But I don't necessarily think this is his backyard per se. Do you feel like it's almost your backyard now that you're fighting there again?
Dude, it's in the middle of freaking nowhere, so it ain't nobody's backyard. Um, it's uh, it's basically Canada, so it's a neutral territory at this point. Um, so no, I don't necessarily think it's my backyard or anything like that. I do think that I made some pretty cool fans out there last time. I did put on a good show, so hopefully they remember my name. But I don't think that it's anybody's territory or anything like that. And I just want to go and show everybody that comes out to the fights that Blayne Richards puts on a show. Watch him wherever he's at.
Absolutely. And knowing you, you're probably hearing that question from me and you're like, what's wrong with you? You know, the cage is my home.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at this point, yeah, it is. Honestly, uh, it'll almost be weird. Make it to the UFC and they're gonna put me in an octagon. I'm like, this is not the circle that I'm used to. So
We all got to try new things. I mean, you're a Cowboys fan, unfortunately, so maybe we've got
watch
to try
it,
something
watch
new.
it.
I had to throw that in there. You got me earlier, so I had to get that back at you real quick.
Hey, but you deleted that part and we weren't on recording.
I did delete that. See, that's why I have the power in this
All
equation.
right, I'll let you have it this time. Next
I
time
can't
I
beat you
see
in the
you, though,
cage.
it's on site.
I can't beat you in the cage. I gotta beat you in the NFL discussion.
Okay, okay. It's a game of wits.
Exactly, one up on each other. But I think one thing everybody needs to know about Blayne is, I mean, obviously you're a family guy, you're a hard worker. I mean, nothing's come easy. You've earned everything in your life. I really want to kind of just give, the floor to you. I mean, how would you describe, one, your come up into MMA, and two, your style in MMA? Because I feel like, your style's morphed over time. So, where did it start and where is it now?
Uh, okay, so like this is weird, but like my back to like actually starting out, like whenever I was younger, I was on the junior Olympic gymnastics team.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think like even in wrestling, like I wrestled in high school, I was a state champion in Colorado, then I wrestled in college and stuff. I I don't know that many moves. And like even through my jujitsu career, like obviously I'm a brown belt now, so I've like grown a pedigree and things like that. But like I don't have like this background of this technical stuff, like these very like practice polished moves and stuff like that. I think that I'm just very good at balance, and that's helped my like athletic career. And then I'm just so willing to put myself in the fire that it for fighting it just creates like magic. But to say that I'm like the most technical person out there and that I'm doing everything correct, I mean, I've gone with Anthony and Anthony Smith, like one of my main training partners, and we'll work out together. And he gets so frustrated because he's like, he does everything wrong and it works. Like it'll piss him off. He'll have me on like a back attack or something like that, and we're working through something. And if I get an escape, he's just so pissed off because he's like, that shit shouldn't have worked. But then on the same aspect, like, yeah, everybody knows the path that's supposed to work. Everyone's trained that. Everybody's done that on a daily basis. Everybody works a 1-2. Everybody does whatever escape and things like that. I like to throw caution to the wind and do what I think's going to work. And most of the time, that works out pretty well for me.
The young gun does what the young gun wants.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I think I've got two questions to follow up with you here. I think the first one is, in gymnastics, were you the one that was doing like flips and stuff off the beam? I mean, what were you doing in the gymnastics room?
All right, so that's your first mistake. No, like guys don't do anything like that. Like we don't do the beam and stuff. There's a few different events for females versus males and stuff like
Okay.
that. But as far as like, yeah, there's like 7 events that guys do as far as like pommel horse, rings. I have like pictures of me as a kid doing like the iron cross and things like that. So I have like a different type of strength than most people. Like you yourself could probably beat me in an arm wrestling match. But if it comes to like a situation of like, body awareness and like the strength that like tensile strength and stuff like that, that's where I excel and stuff. So yeah, dude, I'm probably the only dude that that gets kicked out of the jump zone because I'm doing like doubles and triples into the foam pit and stuff. So yeah, I'm down with things like that. And so yeah, I didn't do the beam or anything like that, but yeah, I was pretty wild on a high bar. I got some pretty sweet stuff that I can do on the rings, and my tumbling's pretty dope.
Okay, I'm sure you were the kid at the playground that like could do the monkey bars like nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was the guy that was doing the backflip off the monkey bars.
If only I could even figure out how to do a flip on the trampoline.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
appreciate the respect on the arm wrestling thing. I mean, I just came from the gym and I'm training to do a pull up competition versus my 70-year-old cousin. So
Uh,
I
you have a
appreciate
70-year-old cousin or a 7-year-old cousin?
Oh, 70, 70, 70.
Oh, okay.
He's in better shape than I am as a 25-year-old guy. But
All right. Yeah, that's good luck, bud.
yeah, I'm gonna need it. Thank you.
Yeah.
But we're training. I got a couple months, so
Okay.
we're not gonna embarrass ourselves. That's the goal here.
How many can you do right now?
4,
4.
5 if I'm not tired that day.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm a little fat right now, though. I've been eating good.
Maybe I can beat you in a arm wrestling contest.
Look, I'm not here to put myself in bad situations or make fun of myself. We're here to uplift each other. And now I feel pretty low. So let's change the topic and let's talk about Anthony Smith here, because obviously your guy, Lionheart, he had a great UFC career, great MMA career, great combat career. And now he's taking his talents to the desk. Talk to me a little bit about what it's like seeing your friend and training partner now behind a microphone and killing it, if you ask me.
It goes to show you the level of intelligence that he has for MMA. Like how many UFC fighters have there been? Like thousands at this point, And what? There's 4 of them, 5 of them that are behind the desk,
Just a handful.
Yeah, there's just a handful of them. So that shows his intelligence for the sport, but then also he's good on the mic, dude. He's media trained. He's eloquent whenever he speaks, and then he's just very good at delivering the message that he wants to get across. So it's awesome, dude. And I know that he had a plan for his UFC career and where he wanted to end and things like that. And if that didn't work out for him exactly how it wanted to, it's worked out, I think, better.
Interesting.
Like I said, because I don't know, there's people that have world titles that aren't doing what he has, like that can't do what he has. So I think it's worked out better for him. Like obviously he doesn't have that gold belt on the wall necessarily, but I think that he's a champion overall, and it couldn't have worked out any better, and couldn't have happened to a better person.
Absolutely, and he certainly is a champion. It might not be the belt that tells him that, but I think there's a whole generation of fight fans that know him as just that, a champion.
Oh, absolutely, and they know that he's about that life. Like 60 fights, not one time did Anthony ever pull out. Like he never once pulled out of any fight of any career or anything like that. He could have had the belt. He could have taken that belt from John Jones, but again, that's just not the type of person that he is. So I take a lot from him. I talk to him almost on a daily basis, and he showed me a lot. Like he showed me the right path to take.
Absolutely. Any chance he'll be with you next weekend?
You know it.
Absolutely. So I love seeing how close you guys are as a fight team. And I think for anybody that hasn't watched you fight, but has watched Anthony fight, they got to tune in next weekend. And I think they'll see a little bit of that influence in your style, probably from the start of the first round. Let's be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we don't take steps back. That's not what we do out here. We'll meet you in the middle. Let's light this bitch on fire. You can stand there the longest, and we'll see who wins.
Absolutely. And we know that you've won way more of those than you've lost. And we're ready to see another victory coming up next Saturday. Again, big feature fight, third to last fight after or right before the two title fights. So you're setting the atmosphere on fire before the title fights. I know we want one for you, and one hopefully will be coming in the very near future. But I got two little questions for you before we go out of here. One, we started our talk with Bud Crawford and talking about Nebraska and the influence that has on you. I'd like to give you a moment to maybe shout out the next up and comer from Nebraska that everybody might need to pay attention to that nobody knows of.
I think everybody knows his name now. Lester Martinez. If you guys watch that featured fight, like the featured fights are taking over this shit. Like I'm gonna take over the fucking card next week from the featured fight, just like Lester did. That was a crazy, crazy ass fight. No one took a step back on that one. It ended in a draw, but like that's one that you can't have anything to say against. That was a scrap. That was a dog fight. That was crazy. And that guy has given up so much. He's from Guatemala and everything like that. And he is like, you know what? I need to be in Omaha. I need to be around Bud and them. And so he moved up, picked up his whole life, moved up here to chase his dreams. So Lester Martinez, that's the next one. I do believe that he's going to be world champion.
Awesome. And shout out to Mbili too. I mean, those two, they put on one of the best boxing fights I've probably ever seen. And not to talk bad on boxing, but some of the fights that night were not as entertaining. There were a lot of decisions. That's the one decision I think everybody walks out of that event saying, I want to see that fight again.
Yeah, like and it kind of sucks as far as like they're like I've seen people kind of even hate on Bud's performance and stuff like that. They were like, it wasn't as like whatever, it wasn't as exciting as that fight. Like I just think that was such a once in however, like that's one of the best boxing fights I've ever seen. Like that's like Hagler Hearns kind of shit right there. They went they're forehead to forehead the whole time, just going at it, throwing combos, and that was crazy. And yeah, I would love to see that again, but it better be for a belt next time because for a regular feature 10-round fight, that's wild. That was an amazing fight.
I think everyone in the crowd would have paid for two more. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
And I think I'll just make one quick point because I like what you said. I think those internet trolls, I think they might have not appreciated the technicality and the footwork and the actual determination that it takes for, a guy that's way smaller technically in terms of weight classes he previously fought and go up the weight classes and try and fight in the pocket with, the GOAT. So I think a lot of people forget the technical aspect and don't appreciate that. And so I think when you look back at that fight, it like you said, it was a great fight. It was so technical, and all props to Bud, who really went in there with that game plan.
Yeah, and don't act like he didn't. Like people are trying to it's almost like they forgot at some point in times. In those later rounds, he did sit there and exchange with him, stayed in the pocket, and won those exchanges. So people talk shit about anything these days. But Bud Crawford, Lester Martinez, Omaha, Nebraska is the truth.
Omaha, Nebraska, stand up.
Yes, sir.
And Skywalker 101, stand up. So my final question for you, Mr. Blayne, tell the folks what you want them to know. Let them know how they can follow you on your journey. Let them know who they need to be checking out, and let them know why they got to tune into your fight next Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, anybody that goes to Skywalker 101, I truly believe that we have one of the best gyms in the Midwest. So if you guys want to see some dope shit, check anybody that's a Skywalker 101 person out. Obviously, I got to give props to Anthony. You guys see him out on the desk every weekend. That's my guy. But then I also got to shout out Carlos Trinidad Snake. That's my guy. I think he's the BKFC welterweight champion. I think that there was some unscrupulous things that happened in Dubai, but we'll get it. We'll get it. That's 100% going to happen. He will be the world champion. That's for sure. For myself, Follow me on Instagram if you guys want to see like a day-to-day of what I do and things that I've try to aspire to be and things like that. Blayne Richards 170. And the last thing I gotta say is today is my coach Scott Morton. He passed away a year ago or last year in November. It would have been his 48th birthday today. So anybody that you truly love and is a mentor to you and things like that, tell me that you love them.
That's just an amazing message, and obviously rest in peace to coach, and all love to all the students, family, friends. I know that wasn't easy for anybody to go through, and it never is easy to go through a loss like that. So all credit and power and respect to you, your gym, his family. I know the impact he had, not just on your career and not just Anthony, his career, but really the entire gym. But
yeah, absolutely. The whole gym. Yeah, that's been a tough one, but we're gonna show them that he changed their lives.
Absolutely, the lessons were all worth it, and you took them all in, and you're going to be great because of them, and that's the key.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, Blayne, it's a pleasure as always to catch up with you. Thank you so much for joining us here at Combat Sports today. For everybody listening at home, September 26th, 27th, what's Saturday?
26th. 26th, Friday. Next Friday.
Well, Friday,
I will put on the show.
So next Friday, you will find that fight on UFC Fight Pass, Cage Fury Fighting Championships. This cool beanie will tell you exactly the company that Blayne's fighting for. But Blayne, as always, again, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Make sure to give him a follow and check out that fight, and we will definitely be talking with him again soon. Have a great day, everybody.
Appreciate you, Jake.